Good evening. Our sign language interpreter is Yula Nzale. We begin with a story that there is confusion over day secondary school fees a few days to the reopening of learning institutions. With less than a week to the reopening of schools, confusion reigns in the rate of school fees to be charged by day secondary schools across the country. Kiharu Member of Parliament Ndindi Nyoro has questioned the Minister of Education over a circular it republished on guidelines for transition to senior schools back in November that would require parents to pay up to 9,000 shillings in school fees. Education Cabinet Secretary Migos Ogamba, however, says the ministry will publish a new circular this Friday to correct the confusion, even as parents prepare their learners for the start of the new academic year.
With schools set to reopen in under a week, confusion continues to mount on the way forward for day secondary school learners. Government issued guidelines for implementation of senior school education handed to principals in November are at the heart of the confusion. Kiharu Member of Parliament Ndindi Nyoro cites the guidelines warning that parents could be forced to raise 9,374 shillings to keep their children in school. Nyoro says the ministry's failure to clarify the way forward has principals working on new fee structures based on a Gazette notice attached to the November guidelines directing them to incorporate the additional 9,374 shillings into new fee structures.
Now, it is alarming to see that the government unashamedly directing principals of day secondary schools that the capitation from January will be 12,000 shillings from the 22,000 shillings and 244 shillings that has been there before, and directing that the burden of 9,374 shillings will now be shouldered by parents.
The ministry, in a quick rejoinder, has insisted that the fee structure for January will remain intact based on the previous circular of 2019 that schools have been using. The Cabinet Secretary for Education, Migos Ogamba, insisted that the government will continue supporting free-day senior school learners to the extent of 22,244 shillings per learner per year, refuting the claims that the government has authorized the imposition of additional fees. The ministry in a statement further says, and I quote, under the approved implementation framework, boarding schools in major urban centers will charge up to Kenya shillings 53,554. All other boarding schools will charge up to 40,000 shillings 535, while special needs schools will charge 12,790. These amounts remain unchanged and no school is permitted to exceed them, end of quote.
In order to put this matter to rest, we are going to issue another circular by this Friday, just to clarify so that there is a clean alignment and there's no more room for speculation on whether school fees has been raised or not.
The Kiharu lawmaker has also raised concerns over delays in absorbing junior secondary school JSS interns, accusing the government of retreating from its own targets on teacher recruitment, further straining schools. Jubilee Deputy Party Leader Dr. Fred Matiang'i sees it as a lack of priorities.
The argument of government that there is no money to confirm the 20,000 JSS interns into permanent and pensionable terms is an incompetent answer to our brothers and sisters.
Can't we make sacrifices from some of these lodges that you are seeing around? You know, people moving around the country, doling out the money in millions and so on and so forth. Can we discipline ourselves and avail those resources to go to supporting our children?
Jimmy Mbogo, Citizen TV, Nairobi.